Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Jack and welcome back to another video. So in this one I wanted to talk about the combat record and the leaderboards, because wasn't it about a week and a half or 2 weeks ago or whatnot when we were supposed to have them? And as of recently, it seems like Call of Duty just repeats itself, the history just repeats itself over and over and over again, and it seems to be about the same thing every time. And that is, well, you guys remember last year we didn't really have, with World War II, we didn't have leaderboards for a while. And I think the year before, the same thing happened with Infinite Warfare, and there was also, I believe Infinite Warfare also had a combat record issue or something of that nature. I don't exactly remember exactly, but I do know that, especially with the leaderboards, it's definitely an issue. And as of right now, we're still kind of waiting. Right now, the leaderboards are pretty much just they're there, but they're not working. And the combat record in Black Ops 4 as of right now is just a stat sheet. And we've been waiting for a while, at least the people that are taking that sort of a thing seriously have been waiting for a while. And a lot of people are a little bit curious, and yet some more upset about it than others that we don't have one, especially at launch. Now, I'm not a developer. I don't know exactly what it takes in order to make a combat record or whatnot, but I do know that, at least in theory, it doesn't really seem like it's that complicated. But at the same time, I also understand that previously, like with Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3, we've always had a pretty damn well in-depth combat record on release. So, and a lot of people, by the way, are saying, from everything that I've read and seen online and everything, everybody is saying that Black Ops 1 is probably the best version of a combat record we ever had. And I also believe that Black Ops 1 was the first Call of Duty to basically take the combat record to the amount of depth that we got it in. So, combat record for Black Ops 1 was absolutely epic. Black Ops 2 was really good too. Black Ops 3, it's really, I personally can't choose a favorite out of all the Call of Duties. So, but I really do like the Black Ops 1 combat record, I will say that. But what do you guys think? Where do you guys stand on this? Are you in, which Call of Duty combat record is your personal favorite? Let me know down in the comment section. And for you guys personally, the guys that watch my videos, is the combat record and the leaderboards a really big deal to you? Now, I know that there are a few people out there, specifically one that I have in mind that follows me on Twitter, and I don't know, maybe every once in a while I'll be blessed by the gods and he'll see one or two of my videos. But I know K3, also known as a Korean Savage, basically I know that he's waiting patiently for the leaderboards to come out. I know that for sure. I think the combat record too, but I know for the leaderboard specifically, because he's, as a solo player is concerned, he's basically a leaderboard king, especially when it comes to hardcore. He's playing a lot more core now, last I checked. But yeah, in terms of the leaderboards, ever since Advanced Warfare and beyond, I believe it was, he's been, as far as the solo player is concerned, he's been at the top of the leaderboards for quite a while. He keeps the number one spot for a while, and then he stops and whatnot. So there's people out there, and he's not the only one either. There are a few other people as well, and some people obviously that we've don't know about and never even heard of, because they just play the game. They don't necessarily make content or anything like that. So, and even for the people that aren't aching to go to the top of the leaderboards, they just specifically just want to see how they place compared to everybody else. And leaderboards have never really been perfect. A lot of people have had the whole score per minute debate. Some people don't think that the score per minute should be a part of it. Some people think that it definitely should, or that there needs to be something else thrown into the mix in order to make it a little bit more, how do we say, precise in terms of where a person really stands compared to somebody else. So, because if you think about it, the leaderboards are almost like a different kind of version of the combat record. So, for a lot of people, again, it's one of those things that it really just depends on the kind of player that you are and how important things like that are to you. Personally speaking, I think that combat records and even the leaderboards kind of feed into your ego. Now, everybody's pretty much got an ego, especially if you're a guy, and especially if you're a player that's been playing Call of Duty for a while and you've reached a certain skill set. But we all have an ego. But the thing is, when it comes to the combat record, more or less, for greater or for worse, or for better or for worse, basically the combat record and the leaderboards, let's just be honest here, they feed into a person's ego, and that's probably part of the reason why we want it so much. So that way we can say, oh, we do better than this amount of people, or hey, I'm in the top 1,000 or something like that, or hey, look at my KD, my win-loss, and all that kind of stuff. So I remember way back in the day, in part of a video that Sandy Ravage made back in the day, like, he said something along the lines of, and I'm paraphrasing here, like having an option to turn off the stats completely. And so I personally think that's cool. And at the same time, remember, when you have, it's really good for other people to see your combat record, but at the same time, check this out. If the one thing that, it's kind of like being a max prestige or a level 1000, right? Which is rare compared to most people. You know, there's not going to be that many people that reach level 1000 by the time this game ends the life cycle and beyond, right? But the thing is, like, a lot of times when people see, like, let's say you go into a free-for-all and all of a sudden you pop in, you're level 1000, all of a sudden people will just leave the lobby because you're a level 1000. Or sometimes they'll play one game and then all of a sudden they'll leave the lobby after they lose. So, and it's the same thing with the leaderboards. When you have a lobby leaderboard thing going on, first of all, if you're playing team-based games, it kind of shows you just how good the other team is if they're partying up together and whether or not you should stay. Because if they're good, there's going to be pretty much nothing you can do, no matter how good you are as a solo player. When it comes to Call of Duty, you're just not going to be able to do much if they're good. But if they're bad, then okay. And then you can literally tell generally how good or bad a player is by looking at the combat record when you look at everything and take everything into account. So it's kind of like one of those things, like, because with the lobby leaderboards, you know, again, you know, a lot of people will just leave early. I mean, they'll just leave the lobby, even if you're playing by yourself, but you have a really good combat record, and people in the lobby see that when they click on lobby leaderboards, they'll leave. So it's kind of like one of those give and take situations. It's like there's a lot of positives about having a combat record, but at the same time, there's also some negatives. And again, going back to the whole ego thing. I think having a combat record, as cool as it is and as great and informative as it is, it could potentially create sweaty tryhards, and it could also potentially make people play a certain way that they wouldn't necessarily play just because they want to get their stats up, which is, in my opinion, absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, guys, that's all I got for this one. Let me know down in the comment section where you stand on this subject and what your opinions are, and what is your favorite combat record. Which combat record iteration is your favorite in the Call of Duty franchise? Anyway, that's all I got for this one, guys, and as always, let me know what you think, and if you enjoyed the video, let me know, and if you didn't, let me know what I could do to make my videos better. I'll catch you guys on the next one.